Well, aloha and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us in this wine team training, getting your business started, and I might add, getting your business started right. And my name is Malina Briakadasha, and I am hosting the call with a special guest today, Marie Bennett, who is an amazing person. One of the main reasons why I got involved with the wine business is because of Marie. I have been successful in another company in network marketing. I've made 6 figures, but I've never made 7 figures. And I know in my life, when I want to get a result that I've never achieved before, I want to find somebody who's getting that result and lock arms with them, partner with them, and do everything they say to do. And that's what Marie is doing for us. We're so honored to have someone who's so successful, so giving, so generous with her time and her wisdom to share with us these tools of how to get started with this business right. And I just want to encourage you, regardless of how long you've been in the wine business or network marketing as a whole, if you haven't been achieving the results you want, you can always fire yourself and rehire yourself today, and you are your own boss. So I encourage everyone to get out a pen and paper and make this very interactive. And if you have questions while we're moving along, that you just write those down, and we will have a question and answer period at the end of the call. And we have a lot of information to get through, so we'll just hold our questions until the end of the call and let Marie take it away. She's put together this wineteam123.net, which is a website we're going to be going off of, and as she explains the system. But Marie has put together this amazing system. She's achieved tremendous results in this industry, and we're so honored to have her on the call right now. So without further ado, my mentor, Marie Bennett.
Aw, thank you, Malina. I really feel lucky to have the opportunity to work with you. You're so inspiring. I've loved everything you've done here everything you've done here so far. I know that your post about you taking your first couple of weeks commissions and buying your daughter that cute little red bug went over really, really well. That was incredibly inspiring to people. And I love how you jumped in. I think you should probably tell your story about how you came to be here, about how you jumped in, what it was that intrigued you, and the fact that you have 5 daughters ages, I always say toddler to 17. How incredible is that, that you find the time to do everything that you've done and so quickly. So maybe you'd start with how you came to be here and what your what your thought process was, and why you got started so quickly, or you knew how you know what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to. I love that part of your story.
Absolutely.
Please.
I will. Thank you. All right. Sure, we'll start with that then. Well, my name is Malina, and I have been in network marketing for 4 years and a few days. I was so anti-network marketing. So just remember, there are a lot of people still not okay with network marketing, and I wasn't. Every negative connotation that network marketing had, I believed it, times 10. I thought it was cheesy. I thought it was a scam, and I never knew anyone who made any money in network marketing. All I knew about network marketing was that somebody decided to get into a company, they'd post it on social media, they were having a party, or they'd call you, they're having a party for their business, they'd invite you. I probably wouldn't go, and I don't think anybody else went because you'd never hear about it again from them. And I just saw it as this person falling flat on their face in front of the world, and I was never going to be that person. And so I was using a product which I loved, but I was totally close to the network marketing experience, like I just described, until one day I found myself pregnant with baby number 5 and a single mom. And I said, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? How the heck am I going to make it? And I remember my eyes popping open in the middle of the night wondering how I was going to feed my family. And I had to take a real hard look at my life, and I started doing some personal development, and I got really clear on what I wanted my life to look like. And the funny thing was, what I wanted my life to look like was exactly what they say successful network marketers' lives look like. So I had to know it was real, and that's what they say. People ask themselves 3 questions. Is it real? Can I do it? And will you help me? So I did some due diligence. I looked on the internet because, you know, everything on the internet's true. But I reached out and found some people who were actually living the life I wanted to live, making that six-figure income that I knew that I needed to make as a single mom of 5 here in Hawaii. Not cheap, not the cheapest place in the nation to live, probably one of the most expensive. I needed a six-figure income. And I needed time freedom because running around 5 kids, you know, I just don't know how people do it with a 9-to-5, especially single parents. So I took a real hard look at it, long look at this, and I found out it was real. And so I had to ask myself that question: if they can do it, can I do it? And yes, I determined with the personal development that I was doing, if someone else is achieving those results, then I can too. Now, what do I need to do? So I dove in head first, and I truly believe that your paycheck in network marketing is in direct relation to the amount of personal growth that you have. So as you grow, your paycheck is going to grow, and a lot of that was stepping outside my comfort zone. I was quaking in my boots the first time I ever had a home meeting, and I couldn't even talk in front of a room of 18 people that I knew. And now, you know, I'm talking in front of groups of hundreds and even thousands of people, which has grown me tremendously. If you would have told me I had to grow that much in the beginning to grow my income that much, I probably would have ran the other direction. But I'm so grateful that I didn't, and I stuck it out for 4 years. But there is a lot of pain in network marketing when you're dealing with products that you have to explain to people, products and the science behind products and why yours is so much better than the other 1,000 MLMs in skincare or 1,000 MLMs in nutrition. And I'm not putting those down because I have had great success. I don't know where I'd be without that industry. But when I heard wine, I'm sorry, but you had me at wine. Do you mean I don't have to explain a product to somebody? Do you mean I don't have to compete with 1,000 other MLMs in that segment? And no, I didn't, because it is wine, and this company, I saw that it was ground floor. It was new. It was I had the opportunity to come into something in the first year of business. What a huge opportunity. I mean, what I was doing in another company that was 20 years old was good. And what I see myself doing in this company, where I don't have to explain a product, where it's a ground floor opportunity, where there's no other competition in the industry of network marketing. We're the only wine MLM. I just saw huge opportunity life and huge refreshment from what I was doing before. I saw the possibility for rapid growth. And then to partner with somebody like Bennett, who was willing to show me everything she knows and plug us into this simple system, and it really is simple. In my other business, people would ask, what link should I send to people? And, you know, after being successful, making 6 figures, working for 4 years at it, I really didn't know. What link do we send people? How do we sum up all this science and all this stuff in, 15 minutes? You just can't. It's impossible. But with the wine business, it's easy. And Maria put together this simple system that we can plug into. And if we don't reinvent the wheel, which we all want to try and do because we come from these really confusing companies or these confusing mindsets. If you've never done network marketing before, you really don't know where to start. But Marie has simplified that for us all. And that's what the whole premise of doing this call today was. Where do we get started? I see people saying, I'm having a hard time getting people to commit. And I'm saying, that's not your job. Your job is not to get anybody commit to this. Your job is just to get somebody in front of the information. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I am so excited. Like I said, I've made 6 figures in the industry. I see taking this to 7 figures and doing it easier than it was to take my other company to 6 figures. And I'm excited to do that with all of you on the call. I'm excited to do that with Marie Bennett. And whatever we can do to support you in that, you just let us know. Like Marie says, we work for you. Put us in the game, coach. Let's get to work, and let's strike while the iron's hot. We have a window of opportunity here that in the network marketing industry is very unusual to be with such at the very beginning of such a huge thing. We've got the inside baseball. I tell people, if you miss Microsoft in the 80s, you're looking at it. You're looking at another opportunity to build 7 figures if that's what you choose. And if 7 figures isn't what you choose, if 6 figures is what you choose, there's nothing wrong with that. If 5 figures is what you choose, or 4 figures, whatever you want, if we can just quantify what it is that you want to get with this vehicle, where you want this to take you, then let us help you to structure a way to get you there. But this is easy, it's fun, and it's big money, and I just direct people to that. That's all we need to say. Hey, do you still drink wine? Girl, I love drinking wine. Well, great. Are you open? I just got into the wine business. Yeah, send me over some information. Well, when do you have, or Marie just corrected me. I usually say, when do you have 20 minutes? Marie corrected me, and that's what we'll get into today. I'm here to learn. I'm a student, and if we think we know it all, then we're really wrong, because we need to learn from Marie. She's got a lot of wisdom to share with us. So I'll turn over the call to you, Marie. Thank you for letting me share my story.
Oh, well, I'm still learning. I'm learning all the time, and testing and tweaking and doing things, in a new and a different way, because what worked 10 years ago or 20 years ago doesn't necessarily work today. So, Malina, I love your story. I love so many aspects of it, and I think that one of the things with our business is that we learn to tell our story and share the company's story. And that's really all we have to do. So I love your story, how you came to be here. I also loved how you got that the faster you went, you were going to show your team what was possible. And that's something that we should each keep in mind as we start our business, is whatever we do becomes our story moving forward in our direct sellers business. So how we come in, whether we come in, and this is part of the first page on our training site, if we come in at the $250 level, then guess what? When somebody says to us, how did you come in? I came in at the $250 level. Well, guess what? The vast majority of your people are going to come in at the $250 level, and most of your team is going to duplicate that. So you need to begin with the end in mind. Most pro networkers will take a look at the enrollment packages, and they'll say, well, I definitely want the biggest package because I want bragging rights to that. I want, when someone says to me, how did you come in, that I can say to them, I came in with a $500 package. And guess what? A high percentage of the people they personally enroll are going to come in at the $500 package. And hello, we get paid on volume that moves through our organization multiple levels deep. So if we're duplicating with a bigger package, that's what's going to happen. Okay? Now, this page was set up kind of as a cheat sheet. It doesn't take terribly long to go through it. It's pretty simple. We're not going to go through it line by line, but you now know it exists. It's wineteam123.net, the exact same as our recruiting site or our team site, or the site that we use as a presentation tool. So we're just going to go through and cover a couple, hot buttons or hot points here. Malina, where do we go next from here?
Well, I love what you said. Your story, that meant so much to me when you said that. Your story starts the minute you enroll, or even before that with the first call. And Diana and you got on the phone with me, and I was sold. And I said, oh, I need a few minutes to think about it. I called you back in 5 minutes. And I said, I'm done. I'm in. Don't hang up the phone with me. And I actually went to the bank to get the money in, and Marie couldn't figure out why I wouldn't hang up the phone with her. But what a great part of the story now I have to tell with that. So keep that in mind, like she says, because then I made my money back in 24 hours. And I had 2 three-way calls set up before I was even enrolled. I didn't tell them I wasn't in yet. I was signing up as I was chatting with somebody on Facebook Messenger, signing them up. So, and then the speed that you go, it becomes part of your story. If you joined a few weeks ago and you haven't done anything with it, that is part of your story. And it's about, and then I got on a training call and I got so inspired, and I said, you know what, I am going to fire myself today and rehire myself today, and I'm going to book 3 three-way calls tomorrow and every day for the rest of through next week. I'm just gonna get going from here. Whatever it is, you start developing your story. So where do we go from here? Your affiliates will do what you do, lead by example, and it's very true what she said. I'd love to go, Marie, what do you think the most important thing to do when somebody first joins? What is the most important thing, or maybe 3 things that they can do?
Good question. I think your list is ultimately important. I think everything starts with your list. But why don't we just go through the page here? So we've got, and I want to go back to something that Malina said, because Diana got me on the line. It doesn't have to be me. Everybody has a senior partner. You're going to want to know who the senior partners are. So you have a sponsor. You've got somebody that brought you into the business. You know how to get them. Ask them who brought them into the business and who brought that person into the business. And if you're not 100% sure who your senior partners are, ask. Ask me. Ask, and I'll get you in touch with the people that are best equipped to help you, the people with the most experience. Get to know them. Call. Introduce yourself. Don't wait for them to call you. Your senior partners are crazy busy, and new people are coming in every day. Call them. Introduce yourself. And we're going to talk about the different things you're going to share with them as we go through the training site here. So as you scroll down, Malina, next. Okay, have it handy. Next, you're going to want to get plugged in. You're going to want to get plugged into our group, okay, our Facebook group, a secret group that we have, and it's secret so that nobody can see the team members. Nobody can see what you're putting in there. So it's a safe place to actually ask a question. It's a safe place. Your prospects are not going to see that you're there, that you're maybe confused by something. And don't be shy. Ask a question. It's a non-judgmental group. Everybody is there to help you. If you can't get your sponsor, maybe your most immediate senior sponsor or senior partner, don't be shy. Ask. Okay, there's a link on this site to it. The person that brought you into the business should have put you in the group. If you're not, again, reach out. Ask. Ask the senior partner you do know, or if you're on this training, you're part of a team that started with me. So ask me, and I'll come forward and help you get into that group. This first page is, again, really kind of a cheat sheet. It goes over when the conference calls are, okay? It lists the most important ones, the Monday night, the Saturday morning. There's a Wednesday morning call that's designed for women, and that's listed in the group and in our welcome letter. Okay, so those are all things you want to plug into. This is a business. Treat it like a business. Understand there'll be a little bit of a learning curve. Not much, but there'll be a bit of a learning curve. This next kind of part is here for a reason, because most pro networkers, they're already scribbling names before they're even signed up. They know that their list is their treasure map. So this first list of 20 should be the first people that come to mind, people that are close to you, that you have a relationship with, that they'll take a call from you, or people that you deal with on a daily basis. We'll talk more about list building as we get going, but don't be shy. Make this a game. Start writing. Malina, what else would you add there? Malina's on
The
mute.
list is so important. I always do that. No matter how many of these calls I do, I always do that. I'll be talking and be on mute. So yeah, the list is so important. I do actually, once I start contacting people on my list, I actually make 3x5 cards with each person, because I'm kind of old-fashioned. I do manage leads in my emails, but I do like to take notes on recipe cards as I'm talking to people. I'll just go through one, like she listened to the opportunity call on 3/21. 4/12, I sent her a Facebook message to check in. She, and another one, 4/13, she wants to schedule something for next week. So I keep notes on my people. I have their phone numbers on there, their full names. And then, like, if somebody, if I left a voicemail message, I put it on there so I know, don't hound them, so I don't leave them a voicemail message the next day. And you might think you don't need to write this stuff down, but after you get 12, 20 people that you're talking to about this, which you should always have, I probably have 50, you're going to get facts confused and things confused. And so you really want to keep track of each person that way. Some people do it on their phones. I like to do it on hard copy.
I actually do it with an Excel spreadsheet, or I'm a Mac user, so I use something called Numbers. And I actually load my, it's a spreadsheet, and I load it to the cloud so I can pull it down on my phone, on my iPad, and on my computer. So I've got it everywhere. And I can even share it with my husband. So he can go through and add a few notes if he's picked up a call and talked to somebody. And I keep even my affiliates, after they've enrolled, on that sheet as well. So I have a follow-up column. I can share a general layout of what I do. But you're going to have your own little columns: name, address, phone number, or name, email, phone number, whether it's a mobile, whether it's a landline. As Malina said, a big section for notes. When your next follow-up is scheduled, so I can actually organize by, okay, who's on my list for today. I use a calendar system as well for follow-ups that I put it on one device and it automatically appears on all 3 of my devices. So I can be a little bit mobile and not miss out on an appointment. And I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I screw up, I miss things, but I do my best. The next section here leads back into Malina's story. You'll note that Diana called Malina, and she actually got me on the phone before Malina looked at literally anything. And we put Malina through the system. We put Malina through wineteam123.com. Now, Diana is super smart, and Diana got it right off the bat. A little background noise. Somebody needs to mute, please.
I'm sorry, I don't have capability to mute call-in people,
okay.
So everybody who's on the computer is muted. Somebody who's on a telephone, if you could *6 or manually mute, please, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So what ended up happening in Malina's case is she's a perfect example of using the system. And the reason we use the system is that it is highly duplicatable. People will think to themselves, okay, first of all, do I want to do this? Well, it's wine and it's money. Of course they want to do it. Can I do this? So you want to keep it as simple as humanly possible. My mantra, what goes on in my head, is along the lines of, Marie, the less you say, the more duplicatable you are, the more apt somebody is to join you. Marie, shut your mouth. Marie, you're talking too much. Marie, do not give away the name of the company because they're just going to go Google. They're going to go figure out that they don't, that you don't need to see it. They don't need to actually book that appointment. They don't need to see it because they've done a quick Google and they figure they know what it's about. We want to control the message and we want them to actually go through a presentation. In days gone by, we had to do a presentation. We actually had to physically get a whiteboard and do a presentation, or we had to present over the business. And Malina's had this experience with me where she's put me on the line with somebody, and they've been in the car, and they're just, well, tell me about it. And we say, no, we want to show it to you. And the reason we want to show it to people with a senior partner on the line is because, remember, they're thinking, do I want to do that, do this? Of course I do. Can I do it? Well, the more you say, the less duplicatable you are. People are thinking, I can't do a presentation. I can't speak about this with as much eloquence as Malina can. I'm not as smart as Diana is. I'm not as good as Omni is. Omni has done this kind of business before. I'm not as articulate as Mary is. So we want to say as little as possible so people can see that they can do it. We let the videos do the heavy lifting. And that's exactly what Diana did with Malina. Then I filled in a couple little blanks. Not that Diana wasn't capable, but if Malina had been anybody else, she might have said, well, I don't know if I can do this. She might have been somebody that said, I don't know, I've never had success with this kind of marketing before, or I've never done this kind of marketing before, or I don't like sales, or I'm not good at sales, but because Diana used the videos, and the videos did the heavy lifting, and they did most of the explanation, there's no way a prospect can say that. They're going to think to themselves, and often people come through the system and they'll say, you know what? I've looked at these kind of companies before, but they were so complicated, I couldn't see myself doing it. But you guys are just using 3 little videos, and you've got a senior partner on the line to answer questions. Hello, I'm in. I can do that. So it takes away a lot of the objections. So it leads back to what Malina said when she said, people are saying, well, I'm not closing people or not bringing people in. Your job is to expose them. Your job is to invite them to look at a system that does the heavy lifting for them. Get them on the line, book an appointment, get them on the line with a senior partner like Malina, like Diana, like Omnia, like Mary, like anybody else on the team. And everybody on the team has a Candace or a Lisa or a Brittany or a Lisa and a Jim. Everybody on this team has somebody that they can point to that will do calls with them and for them and do the heavy lifting and take away all the objections by just having a partner on the line with them. Malina, what did I miss there? And we're going to expand upon this in just a little bit longer, a little bit further too. But what else do you want to add about that?
The calls work. The system works. It's proven. It may, at first, and sometimes it seems a little patronizing to me, like slightly, but I explain, if somebody's a seasoned network marketer, I explain to them that the reason we're putting you through the system is because I want to show you what the people you bring in are going to have in their arsenal. You may feel like this is beneath you as far as like you are an eloquent speaker and whatever, but I just want, and like we could talk about the compensation plan. You don't have to watch a video about it, but I want you to see the system that's in place that your people who you bring in are going to have, because that's why this is so highly duplicatable. I've seen it duplicate like I couldn't imagine 4 levels in 48 hours when I first came in, and I just couldn't believe it. And it's because of this system. Just trust it. It works no matter who's on the other end of the phone. If they make $1 million a year in another company, we want them to see the system we're using. Whether they do that, whether they've never done network marketing before, it works for everyone.
And the $10 million plus earners, they're the ones that know the power of having a senior partner. They're the ones that come in and monopolize the senior partners. They're the ones that come in and they don't do their calls. They're the ones that come in and that put the senior partners to work and keep them busy for their first days, their first weeks, that put their contacts on the line and show their contacts firsthand the level of support that they're going to have. And then it completely takes away the objection. Well, that's fine for you, John, because you've done this before, because you've made $10 million. And John just has to say, look, think about it for a second. What did I do? I invited you. I created some urgency with that invitation. I asked you later today or tomorrow what worked better for you. He said, yeah, I can teach you how to do that. You can do that, right? Right? Yes, okay, I can do that. Then what did I do? I introduced Marie. She took control of the conversation. She put you through the 3-4 videos. Those videos take, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, and about 5 minutes. So tell me what's not duplicatable about that. Tell me what scares you about doing that. And then what happened is you had a couple questions. Well, guess what? Marie answered the questions. No pressure. She didn't try to close you. No pressure. She simply answered your questions. And you got it. You connected the dots. Tell me what about that system you can't do. And we've even had people come out through the other end of the system and say, wow, this is great. I've never been able to see myself doing this before, but with a system like this, I can do this. So oftentimes the biggest earners in the industry are people that can see themselves, that understand the power of having a system, and they understand the power of a buddy call or a senior partner or a partner call. Okay. The other thing I want to stress here is that we really want to help people get back their initial investment as quickly as humanly possible. We want people to get in and get their money coming back to them, have those commissions hit their bank account in about 2.5 weeks after their first day. So let's help everybody on the team get their first 2 people as quickly as possible. When I bring somebody in, my first words are, who can we call? Who can we call together right now? Guaranteed, you're already thinking about somebody. Who can we call together right now? And if you don't feel confident doing that with your contacts as they come in because you're brand new, let me get Malina on the line. Or Malina's probably already in the line, or Diana's probably already in the line, or Candace, or Lisa, or Connie, or Steve, or Trisha, or Tracy, or Brittany, or somebody's already probably on the line. They're probably going to ask, who is it? Who are you thinking about already? Who can we call first? Let's help everybody get their initial investment back ASAP. The quicker you go, the quicker your team goes. You have bragging rights to that moving forward. It's more fun to go fast than it is slow. Okay, Malina, where from here?
Well, I am on the website right now, so we got to the PJs and bedhead equals top rank. I'm just going to tell you guys, this is true. I'm in my pajamas right now, and my friend's here from Canada in my living room. She's laughing at me because I've been working all day in my pajamas. Now, some days I work from the beach, and that's a lot of fun working from the beach. But some days when I want to be in front of my computer and we're doing trainings and all, and returning emails and designing emails, I want to be in front of my computer. The first week that I came in, I think I was in my pajamas all day, every day for the first week because it was all phone calls. I was learning the system. I was plugged in, and I did make the top rank in about 8 days, and that's part of my story, and I get to incorporate that into my story. So if you've been in longer than 8 days and you haven't made the top rank, it's okay. Like I said, fire yourself, rehire yourself. Your story starts from the moment you hire yourself. You can say, when I got serious about this, maybe for my first week, I wasn't sure that I could do this, or I wasn't sure that this was real. When I decided to turn it on and dive in head first and say, yes, I'm doing this, I made Master Seller in 8 days, or I made Master Seller in 2 days. I mean, this is so doable, and it really is. It really is, like, especially because I've been in another network marketing company. When I contacted people, they thought it was my no list, and they thought I was contacting them again about my other company. And I had to say, no, you don't understand. This is huge, and it's wine. And they went, what? Wine? What? And I said, yes, you have to listen. So I kept after people, and because I do believe that this company is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I believe this is an amazing opportunity, and this is ground floor, and my friends need to hear about this, because if they don't hear about it from me, they're going to hear about it from somebody else. And I love what you said about that, Marie, about if you're not willing to put your friend on the list, you have to be okay with the fact that they may be calling you to enroll you and already signed up with somebody else.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than somebody calling you and saying, I just found out about it. I just signed up for. I'm excited. It has to do with making money with wine. You've got to see this. And your heart sinks because somebody else has enrolled your contacts. So I think the other thing that's really important to note in the front page is that we don't just willy-nilly send out the link to our site. And
good one.
You think about it for a minute. How many times do you get links? How many times do you get sort of those spammy messages in Facebook, or somebody sends you a link, you need to look at this. You intend to look at it, but life gets in the way. I don't know about you, but my week between Christmas and New Year's, when I'm trying to clean out my inbox of my email, I'm trashing those messages. My intent maybe was to look at them, and maybe people really thought I would look at them. But if it hasn't been important enough to them, and big enough in their life that they pick the phone up and contact me, then I'm not paying any attention to it. Things get lost. The children come in, or another Facebook message comes in, or they get a text. You have to be on the line before you share it to have the kind of results that we're having on this team. Okay? All right.
I underscore that. That is so true. It really is. It's brilliant that we're on the phone and while they're watching the videos. So like you say, so then you can answer questions in real time. You can get their response in real time, their level of interest in real time. It's not diluted by 24 hours until even if they did watch it, then there's probably 24 hours or 48 hours between the follow-up when the excitement wanes. So this is brilliant. Where do you want to go next? This was the home page. Next is goals and plans.
And I think I want to point out there's an audio link. And the audio link has a bit more about why we do the system the way we do it. So at the very top of the page across the menu, there's an audio link right across the very top of the page. Malina, maybe you can just point to it. You don't necessarily have to.
Got it.
You want. But there's a couple audios on there about why we do the system the way we do, and there's some real life stories. There's a story about somebody I contacted in Long Island and how I know that while we were on the phone watching videos, she had 3 major distractions. And because I was on the line with her, she stayed with me and she finished the videos, and lo and behold, they signed up. So there's a bit more in depth there about why we do the system the way we do it. And I often get the calls about, do I have to do wine tastings? No, you don't. If you want to do wine tastings, you can do wine tastings. So there's an audio there, too, that goes through that. So that's worth for most people to go through that. Next, I think Malina is right. We go to goals and plans. And this is a business where you're going to face some rejection. And if you don't have a good, strong why about why you're doing this, if it's not a driving force, then the rejection that you are going to get with this business is going to bring you down and knock you out of the business before you even get started. So you do want to take some time and write out for yourself some goals. Figure out what you want your life to look like. Have a family meeting as well. so that your family understands when you're on the phone that it's in their best interest to maybe be a little quieter, a little patient, and maybe you're going to be a little late for something, or maybe you're not going to be sitting, maybe watching quite as much TV, or, you might even just say, go ahead for, movie night without me. I'm not saying ignore your family. There is nothing more important than your family and quality time with your family, and that's why many people are doing this business, so they can have more of that. It's no fun being at the top without your family and your friends. But what I am saying is get your family on board with it, so they're not whining and complaining if you're working a little more than normal, if you're doing some work from home. Let them know what's in it for them. It's more fun to have them pushing you and supporting you than having them pick at you. But I'm going to go back to something else. Going fast, getting them off your back by getting your money back in your first 2 days, 3 days, a week, or like Malina says, when you decide to rehire yourself and really go at it, making that be your first goal, let me get my initial investment back. A lot of times that goes a long way to taking care of some of the naysayers that might be in your life. Okay, Malina, what else would you add here? This could be a whole training hour itself or longer.
I know. Well, this is my favorite part because we're 90% mindset and, 10% system, and we have the system down. We have got the most solid system I've ever seen. Now it's about the mindset. You have to see yourself doing this. I had to see a clear vision of what I wanted my life to look like. And I went 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5-year goals. And I meditated on it. It was more than just cutting out pictures and making a vision board. It was making a vision board based on my vision of what I really, truly wanted my life to look like, not just flipping through a magazine and cutting out a Lamborghini because it looked cool and it was in front of me. It was like, what do I really want my life to look like? But even more than that, it was now, what kind of person do I have to become to be living that life? Because as you see yourself in that life, you carry yourself differently. You have more of a confidence. You come from a different posture than when you're inviting people to your business, because you know that you're in this thing. Like I said first in the beginning of the call, my impression of network marketers was that nobody made money at this. They all quit. So if I'm looking to join somebody, that's why I wanted to join with a Marie, with a Diana, because these ladies, they're not quitting. They're in it for the long haul. We're partnered in this thing for life, and we're gonna rock this thing. We're at least taking it to 6 figures. I'm looking at 7. But people want to partner. If they're looking to partner with you, or you're inviting them to look at it, an opportunity, do you believe that you're inviting them to an opportunity? If you can see yourself 5 years out living the life you want to live, using this as a vehicle to get there, you're going to come you're going to come off a lot differently in your invitation. You're going to come off a lot more confident, a lot serious. Like Marie was saying about, if you're going to treat this as a hobby, you're going to get paid as a hobby. If you're going to treat it as a business, you're going to get paid as a business. And if you truly just want to do this as a hobby, that's not wrong. But if you want to do this as a business and you're treating it like a hobby, that is wrong. So people are going to be, when you're serious about this, people are going to take you seriously. And I know that when I had that paradigm shift, my whole business changed. So that's why the vision board, that's why the visualization, that's why having a meeting with your family and sharing with them, keeping accountable to your family is a big one. Not making false promises, but having them keep you accountable. And they say too, with a goal, when you tell somebody about a goal, or when you write down a goal, you're, I think, 35% more inclined to achieve that goal. When you actually tell somebody about it, now that raises it up into the 80 percentile of probability that you're going to achieve that goal. So really powerful stuff. I love the vision stuff.
I think for me, one of the most powerful things about this page too was that when I got started, I actually did sit down and block off specific time to build my business. I still, to this day, have hours that I'm open, that my business is open. The same way when I had my clothing business, it was open. It was open set hours. It was a brick and mortar. It was open set hours. And I have set hours, and I lay them out, and I teach people lay out set hours. Put it down, make a schedule, put it on your calendar. In my case, I worked a very light week for me with 60 hours. I had my own clothing business. I was more apt to work 80 and even 90 hours a week, 7 days a week. So when, my significant other, when my husband came home and said, we're doing this network marketing company, I looked at him like he had two heads, put the sign of the cross in front of my body and said, over my dead body, where am I going to find time? And then I came to understand about conversationally marketing this, putting it in and working it into your day, every day. When somebody says to you, what do you do for a living? Are you ready? Do you know how to tell them that, yes, I'm in the wine business? I say I'm a full-time professional networker, and get a load of this. My product is wine. Well, what about me? But you need to come up with something that makes sense for you to say, to come up with a little power line that when somebody says to you, what do you do or what's new, you've got a little something you can drip on them. Leave direct sellers out of it. We don't want them to go and Google direct sellers. You want to control their first exposure and have them see the whole picture instead of just a little tiny part of it that they're going to get if they Google. And then for me it was, okay, I can take a little bit of time late afternoon. My initial goal was to do that 7 days a week, but it turned out I was too busy on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So I started taking 45 minutes a day for lunch late afternoon, and that became my network marketing building time. And I would lock myself in my little office. In a retail business, you don't have a big office because you're paying by square foot, and every square foot goes to storage or to display. And I would work the phones for 45 minutes a day, 4 days a week, late afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then I took a little bit of time on Tuesday night. Tuesday was my quietest day, so I would leave my store a little bit early on Tuesday night. And in those days, we actually presented the business in our living rooms. So I worked the phone the early part of the evening, did some last minute inviting. I opened my home and people came to my home to hear about the business on a Tuesday night. Sunday nights was booked for follow-ups. And Sunday nights, my grandparents would have been turning in their graves that I was working on Sunday nights, but I was working Sunday days anyways in my clothing business. So I started to put a little bit of time in on Sunday nights. And I did that. And it was hard in the beginning. It's not called net play marketing. It's called network marketing. And there's rejection in the beginning as well. And it was hard to block off that time. And I was really regimented and disciplined with it. And it's why I often like talking to people in the military or people that are athletes, because they know that little bits add up and they understand about discipline being important. And so I think that's a big part of the success in this business as well. All right, Malina, I think we can probably skip by that page, the rest of it now. I think we've covered that. What do you think? Anything else you want to add there?
Yeah, in addition to setting up the time, set up an area. So you don't have to break down and set up every time you decide you carve out that hour to work every night. You don't have to break out everything. You can have a little spot. And I told Marie earlier today, for me, my first 6 months was in a closet. I had a very small walk-in closet, and I stuck just a little nightstand in there with a little stool, and I had my cards, and I had my people, I had my vision board in there, and I went in there and I went to work. And I had to do it in a closet because I could close the door and be semi-quiet from my screaming kids running around out in the house, so I could be on the phone. We do as we need to do. And when somebody says they don't have the time, like you just gave that story, that picture of you working all those hours. I mean, I had 5 kids. I was a single mom. If anybody doesn't have time, it was me. So that's a really hard excuse for me to take. I have to choke that one down when somebody tells me they don't have the time. I've got to come up with my comeback, because sometimes I get a little aggressive with that. Wait a minute. You got to come up with a better excuse than that for me. You don't have the time. Because if you want this bad enough, you will make the time. So let's figure out if you want it. I mean, if you want it, we'll help you. It doesn't take a lot of time in the beginning, and as you see the money coming in, then you'll justify making more time for it. That's what I see.
And there's leverage. There's leverage. Now you're learning to overcome an objection. There's leverage. You can tell somebody else's story first of all. You can say, well, let me tell you about Marie and how she got started and how difficult it was. And there were times where she felt like she was going to pull her hair out. But look at her life now, and look at her life very quickly after that. And then you just leverage too here. So I often use, think about it for a second. I might be doing calls with somebody on my 7th, 8th, 9th, or even 10th level. And everybody in between has the opportunity to be, paid on that new person. So you get leverage from the people that come before that, like Malina, perhaps are full-time. They have more time. They'll help work with your contacts, with your people as they come in, and their people, and so forth and so on, and help drive the lines deep. So you get leverage from above. But you also can enroll somebody, personally enroll somebody who has, more contacts than you have, or has international contacts as you go international, or has more time to put in. And you enroll 4 or 5 people, and they're each putting an hour or 2 hours a week in. All of a sudden, you're getting paid on the efforts of, 4 or 5 people that have an hour or 2 hours a week. Now you start to talk about leverage. I never got that. I never personally got that objection or excuse. Because people would look at me and they'd start to say, you know what, Marie, I don't think I have, and they couldn't get the word time out. And they'd finish it, they'd think about it for a second, they'd pause, and they'd say over the phone or in person, they'd say, but I guess I can't use that excuse with you because I don't know anybody that's any busier than you are. And I had a pretty busy social life too. Any minute that I was off, I was organizing something. I was organizing a hike or a sailing outing or a murder mystery weekend, even if I was coming late to my own party. I was constantly doing things and giving back to the community as well. So nobody could ever use that with me. So tell a story of somebody else and explain how leverage works from above and below too when you get that excuse or when you get that objection. Okay. Next, and Malina, I'm going to add a page about having, yes, I'm going to add to that page about having a designated spot because it's a good point. If you have a spot where you're sitting and your family knows that when you're there in that spot that they need to be a little extra quiet because mom's working or dad's working, I don't know, or hubby or wife is working. Okay, so next page. All right.
List building, your treasure map.
Oh, no question. Okay, I think that we've already said it a couple times that professional networkers, they're starting to make their list the second they know they're going to do this, and they probably already have a list. Malina mentioned her no list. If you've been in the industry before, you probably have a no list. The busier, more successful you are in the industry, the more substantial your no list is. And sometimes people are afraid to go after people that have said no to them before, but this is a completely different thing, a different deal. It's wine. Nobody has to have a PhD in nutrition here. And again, I say that with all due respect. Nobody has to be a skincare expert. It's wine. People will connect the dots really quickly here. So if you're afraid of talking to people that said no to you before, don't be afraid. Talk to them. This is completely different than anything you've done before. And use the system so they see the level of help and support that's available for them. Nina, I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, and somebody on the phone has a lot of background noise. So if you're calling in from a phone, please double, triple check that you are muted out because there is a caller with a lot of crumpling of paper or something behind them. We'd appreciate all phone callers to check. Press *6 or manually mute your phone, please. Other than that, let's see. Your list, your treasure map.
Well, and I think the first part we covered. I think the first part we covered about a little bit about not prejudging that list. It's okay, and then people say to me, well, should I put so-and-so on the list? Or so-and-so is really busy, really crazy, successful. Should I put them on the list? And I always answer it this way and say it's okay not to put them on the list, but then you have to be okay with them calling you about their new business that has to do with wine and making money, and you have to be okay with getting those calls. So if you're okay with somebody else, some of your contacts signing up with somebody else, then it's okay. Don't put them on the list. And then people say, well, how do I connect with them? How do I reach out to them? Or, what am I going to say? And I say initially, don't even worry about what you're going to say. Don't even worry if you know how to find them. Just write down the list. Have fun with this part. Let not one name remind you of another. Malina, how did you build your first list? What favorite stories do you tell about that?
Well, it's Facebook. Facebook is huge for me because as I just go down my feed, it jogs your memory. And not only like you'll see an old classmate and then you remember the other classmates that you connected with and you start writing it down. And I love that this business rekindles old relationships. It's so fun. I was talking to my friend Una yesterday. We haven't talked in years. I knew Una 20 years ago, and I remembered her because she's in my Facebook feed. and we connected, and now we're talking on a daily basis, and it's just so much fun. I would encourage you that your no list is huge, because while this is still network marketing, and there are people who say, I am totally not into network marketing, when it's wine, it's a whole nother story. So those no's turn into yeses. I have a couple people on this team, and you know who you are, who said, Mary's one of them, she's on this call, I will never do network marketing again, but this is wine, so okay, I'm in. So even those people who said, I'm so done with network marketing or will never do it again, they're having success in this company, and those no's are turning into yeses with wine. So those are my big stories.
Yeah, don't prejudge your list. My sponsor is somebody that swore he was never doing network marketing again, but when he heard wine and network marketing, hello, I'm somebody like that as well. I'm sure there were people that I was on their chicken list, and they didn't put me on their list because they figured, oh, well, Marie, she's too busy, she's too successful, she's making oodles of money over here doing that. She would never be interested. But I heard wine, and I heard network marketing, and my sponsor called me, and I said, I'm in. I didn't even want to see a video. He kept saying, you need to watch a 2-minute video. And I kept saying, I don't need to see a video. You're missing the buying sign. I'm in. Where do I go to sign up? If you're doing it, and it's wine, and it's network marketing, I'm in. Hello? I'm in. So, and I would not be somebody that would be recruitable, I don't think, for anything else. I get recruited 3 times before lunch most days. I've got people offering me opportunity left, right, and center, offering to pay me money to come to their companies, offering me all kinds of special deals. So you don't know unless you ask. And it might hurt a little bit if they say no. It might be hard to take, but you'll get over that. And especially, as Malina said, if you have a lot of people that you're looking at and you've got a nice, big, fat list, the psychology behind having a big list is something else that I'm big about teaching. Because if somebody starts out and they have a list of, say, 8 people, they have a written physical list of 8 people, and they get on the phone and they get 3 people that are either not calling them back, not interested in setting up an appointment, just giving them a flat-out no, or maybe somebody even stands them up for one of their first appointments, and that happens. And on that audio page, that audio link on the page here, on the website here, on wineteam123.net, there's some advice and some recordings about how to actually get an appointment, how to have them keep the appointment, how to create the fear of loss, how to create an urgency when setting an appointment. But if someone just has 8 people on their list and they get 3 no's or 3 perceived no's, they're gone. They're out of the business. Adios. Kiss them goodbye. They're not going to do it. And when you get stuck, come back to your list. Expand your list. And if you don't have a physical written list, write one. Do one. So you can teach your people how you came up with your list. I actually was told when I first started my list was to actually come up with a name. Pick any name out of a hat. What about your mother's name? And so I came up with my mother's name. Her first, her middle, and her last name, her married name, and her maiden name. And then I went through a little routine. Okay, Jean, do I know any other Jeans? Well, I knew a Jean Baxter. Wouldn't know how to find her, but I wrote down her name. Did I know any other Baxters? Yes, I did. I knew a David Baxter, and I knew a Sue Baxter. I wrote their names down. I went to grade school with them. I wouldn't know how to find them. Did I know anybody else with the name Sue? Well, of course I did. Did anybody else with the name my name, Marie. Did I know about the name Marie? Well, I knew one other Marie. I knew somebody with that same last name, Brown. I knew somebody that goes by the name of Boogie Brown. And then I knew across the road from me growing up was Shauna Brown, Shelley Brown, Bonnie Brown, Nancy Brown. Put their names down. Did I know anybody else with the first name Nancy, Shauna, Shelley, or Bonnie? And I wrote their names down. And then it got me thinking about the little boy that grew up next door to. His first name was Brian. His last name was Mills. And he had a brother, Graham. And they had a cat, Thomasina. And I wrote those names down. And then did I know anybody else their same last name? Well, did I know anybody else the name Graham? Well, I knew Graham Kerr, the Galloping Gourmet. I didn't really, but I wrote down his name. Kerr reminded me I knew some people that lived on Kerr Street. And I just had fun with it. And I built a list. Some of them I wouldn't know how to find if my life depended on it. But they reminded me of other names that were in my life at that given time, at that given moment of time. And it reminded me of somebody with the name Janet and Mills and oh, she was a dentist. I know any other Janets. Well, I even knew any other dentists. I knew another Janet. Her last name was Stewart. And guess what? She was a dentist too. I wrote down all the names of all the dentists I could think of that I'd ever been to. And then their names triggered other names, and I built a list. Some of them I crossed off. I couldn't find them. Other people were part of my current life. And then you can start thinking now about people outside of that. Like, who do you deal with on a daily basis or a weekly basis? Well, I knew the fishmonger. I wrote down, first name, his first name. I wrote down great red hair, fabulous smile, always friendly and open. And I made it a point to warm him up a little bit the next time I went in to buy fish. And the next time I went there, the next couple of times, I did find a way to recruit him for my business. And lo and behold, he came into my business. He was open. He was open to not being in the fish business anymore. He was sick and tired of it. He was sick and tired like me of the long hours in retail. So you just build a list, have fun with it, make a game. And then when you do it, you can tell your own story about how you came up with your top producer and where they came from on your list. So go through the exercises and build a list. And when you get stuck, go back to your list. Make it a game with your spouse. Add to it. Go through the actual physical exercise of going through the categories at the bottom of this page. It really is your treasure map.
Great stuff. Wow. You make me want to go and expound on my list. That sounds like fun. All right. So great on the list. We've been on for almost an hour already. So let's get into inviting.
Okay. I'm going to probably have to leave you in Malina's very capable hands because I've got a 4 o'clock and it's now 3:58. I'm just going to make sure that my 4 is still on. And I'm going to start out with inviting about, it's going to be different depending on who it is that you're contacting. If you've done some network marketing before, there'd probably be some people that you know that are in the industry. You can be a little bit more upfront and a little blunt with them. I usually do like to start my conversation by saying, you know what, hey, good to speak with you. It's been a while, and there is a very particular reason that I'm calling. It has to do with wine and making money, but first, what have you been up to since we last spoke? You had a trip to Hawaii, or last time we spoke, you had broken your kneecap. I'm around horses, so I know lots of people with injuries, by the way. You had a broken kneecap. How did that work out for you? Did it heal okay? It looks to me like it did because I'm seeing on your Facebook page that you're riding again. Yay! And what's going to happen is 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, what do you mean you're talking to me about wine and making money? And I usually do a bit of a takeaway. I usually play more of the cat, be a little bit aloof, and I'll say, you know what? Yes, I'm calling to talk to you about how to make money, lots of it with wine. But again, first, what have you been up to? So, and I get caught up a little bit if it's been a while since I spoke with them. And then I'll bring it back to, now, wine and money. Let's get back to this, wine and money. And my first phone call is usually to book an appointment, and I use a choice close. I usually say, look, it's something I want to show you. I sometimes tell them I'm going to have my senior partner on the line with them, depending on how well I know them. Other times, quite frankly, I don't even tell them I'm calling them with a partner on the line. But that's a judgment call that you're going to have to make, so somebody's not feeling like they've been surprised, or I don't know what the right word is. Malina, help me out here.
Ambushed.
Ambushed, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Ambushed. Other times I definitely tell them, look, this is new to me. I haven't been doing it that long. Yes, okay. And they might say, yeah, but you're a pro. And I say, look, we have a system. You need to see the system. And the system involves bringing in a senior partner, not to close you. Their job is simply going to be to educate you. We have a system, and I want to put you through the system so you see how beautifully this duplicates and how simple it is to duplicate. And I go from there. Now, I got to step away for a second and just see if my 4 o'clock is ready. Malina, I leave this call,
sure.
Webinar, and you're very
sure, absolutely.
Thank you. You are such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Marie. So the invite, keep it as simple. I haven't even done what Marie has said. Most of my invites have been on Facebook Messenger because that is my biggest memory jogger. I've been building my friends list actively for a few years now. So I have a huge amount of people to work with through there. And I have been very bold because I do believe this is the best thing since sliced bread, and I do believe it's like the Microsoft of 2017. It's like, if you don't take a look at this, you're going to be doing yourself a disservice. at least just take 15 minutes, 20 minutes to take a look and then make a decision, because you're going to be hearing about this from everybody and their brother and sister and mother in 6 months or a year down the road. Would you rather have all those people above you or below you? Because if you take a look now and it's something you want to do, all those people are going to be below you, not above you. You'll have an opportunity to share this over the next 6 months to a year while this thing is exploding. So I get bold with people. Somebody will say to me, I reached out to somebody on Facebook Messenger and they didn't get back to me. So I moved on, or, you know. Now, I want you to think about it. I reach out to some of my yeses. I reached out to them 3, 4, maybe more times with no response, because that wasn't a no to me. That was a she's busy. Sometimes I went out to dinner with my friend Anna last night, and I charged my phone at the bar because there was I needed an outlet. I went back to check my phone after an hour and a half of eating dinner, and there were probably 20 notifications on my phone. So I didn't check them all. Don't get offended if somebody doesn't get back to you with a text message or a Facebook Messenger. I keep messaging them. I go, girl, I know you like wine. You would be perfect for this. I just want you to take a look at it and make up your mind, because it's the biggest thing. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. My messages get more and more kind of blunt because what have I got to lose? They didn't listen to my first gentle message, so I'm going to make some more blunt messages. And it's not to sell them on the opportunity. It's to get them on the phone and see our system.
Yeah. I'm back. I was mistaken. My next appointment isn't just yet, so that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yay. So, you know, and Malina said something too. It may or may not be for you, but you don't know unless you take a look. So really know what it is you're saying no to. You know, somebody said, well, I don't think I'm interested. I'm not interested in those things. Or, well, then explain to me, tell me exactly what it is you're saying no to. We had somebody, I don't remember who I was on the line with the other day, who said, and I had a personal recruit the same way the other day that said, you know, I've already looked at the wine thing, and I'm not interested. And I said, okay. I said, you know, first of all, tell me what you know about it. And they didn't really understand it. And so I took her through the 3 videos, and lo and behold, enrollment. Okay, so just make sure they take a look before you actually take it as a no. And usually for professional networkers, a no means just not right now. There's nothing wrong with dripping on them a little bit down the road. The fortune's in the follow-up. My significant other, when we were first approached with network marketing, was approached all through June, July, August, September, and October. It wasn't until the last 3 days of October that he got out of bed on a Saturday morning and actually went to a presentation. And the young woman that had invited him all through June, all through July, all through August, all through September, all through October. He figured out it was network marketing. It wasn't that he wasn't interested. It was something in a climate where there's winter. He wasn't interested in business. He wasn't interested in looking at anything. He was only interested in windsurfing and sailing and swimming during that time and enjoying the summer and golfing. So think about that one for a minute. We almost wouldn't have been in the industry probably, at least not as early as we were, if she'd given up and not taking his returning calls or maybe showing up at a presentation in those days. We wouldn't be here.
Right. Well, what you have on this page as well for inviting is creating urgency. And I do that a lot. And it's true, though, because like I realized that from the moment I got in. Do I want these people above me or below me? And it's just inevitable that more people are going to come in if you hem and haw. So if somebody says, oh, I think I might do this. Yeah, great. Okay, well, I would advise you to do it like Marie always says, the second you decide to do this, you go on that enrollment link, because we are a team that's on fire, and I would much rather have that volume below you than above you. So even it happened with my friend Rebecca. I had appointments scheduled the next few days out, and she said, oh, I get paid on Thursday, and it was a Tuesday. And I said, Rebecca, and I said what Marie said, you know, it's in your best interest to do it as soon as possible if you can, because I have appointments set for the next 2 days. Our team's growing. And so, in fact, she did use her credit card to come on. And within 2 days, she did have several people under her from appointment set of people that I was three-way calling who did come in. And she said, thank you for pushing the envelope on that with me. Thank you for encouraging me to get in earlier.
Absolutely. I also create urgency by using what Malina described earlier, a choice close, where instead of saying to somebody, when would be good for you, or let's get on the phone, what time suits you, or when would be good for you, or when can you take a call? They're going to say, 2 weeks after my birthday, or I'll get back to you after I come back from vacation. When are you going on vacation? Next month. They're going to say, contact me in the fall. I have been using Easter as an example, but we're coming up on Easter. 2 weeks after Easter, when you're asking them in January, when's good for you? Well, I'm really busy until after Easter. Well, if you ask a different way, you'll get an appointment a different way. If you say to somebody, what does your schedule look like later today? Well, I'm crazy busy, and they might be looking at it saying, well, the children, I'm really busy until the children go to bed. What time do the children go to bed? 9:45, okay, or 9:30 or 8:30 or whatever it is. Well, you take a quick look at your schedule and you say, okay, 8:45, I can fit you in at 8:45. Now, I don't care if you don't have another appointment on your whole agenda for the evening. I can fit you in at 8:45. And they're going to be thinking, whoa, she's busy. She's serious, okay? You haven't lied. You could fit her in at 8:45 or him in at 8:45. Just makes it sound a little bit more urgent. If it's not going to work tonight, I might say to somebody, I might ask this way, would later tonight or tomorrow morning be better for you? Now, if you're working tomorrow morning and you've got a job or you've got a business where you can't do it tomorrow morning, you can say, would this evening or tomorrow evening work better for you? Give them a choice. It's way better than putting it out there in the universe that when is good for them, because they are going to say 2 weeks from tomorrow, or call me next month, or not till after the end of the month. Well, the end of the month, today's the 13th. We're not going to be at the end of the month, for another 2+ weeks. Create urgency that way as well by putting a finite time on it and asking for the appointment. And then I think that leads into actually confirming the appointment as well. I'll often say to people, look, this is not going to be a call. First of all, it's not going to be a call to close you. This is a call to expose you to an opportunity that has to do with making money with wine. It's not going to take very long. The videos are really, really short. You need to see it, okay? And then asking them or telling them first, it's on my calendar. Is it on yours? Okay, I've got it written down in my calendar. I've got it on my calendar, so it's going to pop up on my phone. Is it on your calendar? And people are going to say, oh, yeah, I guess I should put it on my calendar. You need to subtly, gently remind them. And there's nothing wrong with saying, is it on yours? It's on my calendar. Is it on yours? And then I usually finish with this. Okay, great. It's on your calendar. Do me one more favor. If something comes up that you can't make that time, that you do me the courtesy of a return phone call, or that you reach out to me with a Facebook private message, or maybe you're a texter, you send me a quick text and let me know that you can't make that time so I can replace you in that time slot with somebody else. No one wants to be replaced. Anthony Robbins teaches, Tony Robbins teaches, the greatest motivator of all is the fear of loss. And you're treating it like a business, and they're going to take it more seriously if you take it seriously. So there's nothing wrong with saying to somebody, look, I've got you down in that time slot. It's okay if something comes up, I understand, but please do me the courtesy of a call, a return call, or letting me know with enough time that I can replace you in that time slot. People will be more apt to keep their appointments if you treat it like a business. Malina?
I just want to add, I love that about that's a fact I didn't realize before about the replacement. People don't like to be replaced. That's a great gem. Personally, I am very busy with 5 kids, and the only way that I can work this into my lifestyle is when I schedule 3-way calls and I know I've got Marie or I've got Diana doing the call with me. I can't necessarily carve out a half an hour where it's going to be completely silent in the background or where I don't have to be doing something else. So you need to understand that if you are very busy, you just need to have that first 5-10 minutes in the beginning of the call to introduce the parties, edify your senior partner to your friend, edify your friend to your senior partner so they feel special and they're grateful to be there when they get edified. You know, you just need to do that introduction. Then what I do as the person doing the introduction is I can then mute myself out if I need to be on my way to pick up my kids from school. Don't wait until you have 45 minutes of uninterrupted time to schedule a three-way call if you're not the senior partner. That would be my advice, because then you're going to do very few three-way calls. But if you understand that you could do a three-way call on your way to work, if you've got a half-hour or 45-minute commute, you could do your call on the way to work. You could do your call stuck in traffic. Find ways to expand your time. And then we've been going a long, long time. Do you think we're good on inviting and we can move to rejection now?
I think so.
Not that I want to be rejected.
No, and I think that rejection is going to take us 3 minutes because it's something that we really covered it when it leads back to your goals. You have to have a driving force. You have to have a reason that you're doing this so strong. So when I first got started in the industry, I was living in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and nothing against Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Great community, lots to do, right on the ocean. We had a beautiful home right on the ocean. We had a second home in Prince Edward Island, on Prince Edward Island. And, you know, but what I didn't have was, first of all, I didn't have the time to enjoy what we had, whether it be toys or homes, and I didn't like the climate. I actually happen to hate winter, and don't laugh because here I am back in Canada. I'm loving it this time around because we have a very short winter here. And I get out and I do a lot of things in the winter. That climate was very cold, gray, dreary, damp. I'm the type of person, if it's going to snow, let it snow. We had kind of a lot of slush in that climate, so it wasn't my favorite climate. So when somebody would say no to me, for me it became, okay, that's fine, but you're not going to get me where I want to get. I want to move someplace warm. And I did. Within 10 months, I was living on the beach in Southern California. So have a driving force. Have something that you want so badly, or something, not necessarily a thing, but a trip, a way you want your life to look, maybe less stress. Maybe it's you want to pay off your mortgage or get caught up on bills. Maybe you want to sock away money for a child's education. But that helps you get over rejection. It goes right back to what Malina is so eloquent about setting goals and the importance of setting goals and having that driving factor, that driving force behind you. And every no brings you closer to a yes. You have to learn to get by them. Malina?
Oh, absolutely. And you really, I remember when I was a kid and I did canoe paddling, and our coach used to tell us, do not look at the other boats. You look at the end. You look at the flag at the end of the race, and you keep your eye on the flag or down. You either are looking at the end or you're looking down. You're not looking around you at your circumstances. And that's what you have to do. And if you have to realize that it's a numbers game, you're going to get better as you go. Other people are doing this. Other people are being successful at this. So why not you, and why not now? Keep your head down. Don't look at, oh, I called 5 people and nobody wanted to get on a 3-way call with me. You know, you have to look at, this is real. People are doing it. This is what I want to use this as a vehicle to achieve in my life. And I know that those current circumstances don't dictate my end result. They don't have anything to do with the flag at the finish line. Those boats around me, if I put my head down and I just keep paddling, there's a chance we could win, you know, and I know we're going to finish, but there's a good chance we could win. And so, but when you start looking around at your circumstances and you start to get discouraged, that's when you fall out of the race. That's when you got to start stacking your victories, not stacking, the negative or what you would consider as a defeat. You got to stack your victories. Celebrate every victory in this business. You sign up a customer, celebrate it. That you never know how many referrals that customer is going to bring you. And this isn't about you going out and bringing in the world. This is about you bringing in a few people, duplicating it with those people, helping them do the same thing, and you'll be continuing to bring in people just by virtue of your successes and celebrating your successes. You're gonna pick up momentum as you go. As long as you don't quit, there's no way to fail in this.
And celebrate your people's successes too. Customers, as Malina said, are great. You don't know. That customer may upgrade. That customer may be a long-term customer. That customer might only be a customer for a couple months. It's all good. It all counts. It's all important. And if you do get down, that's the time to call up. Okay? If you're down, pick the phone up and call your sponsor. Call above your sponsor. Somebody will be there with some words of encouragement and some ideas on how you can pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and just keep going. What to do next, who to talk to next, how to expand upon your list, what to say to somebody. It does start with you, and Malina's right that this business really is about self-growth. And the more evolved you are, the bigger your check is going to be.
Absolutely.
Malina,
what a great call. What some great information. Thank you so much, Marie, for everything, for giving so much to us. And I just want to let everybody know everything we talked about is found at wineteam123.net. Everything is right there. But don't think you can't do this until you get trained and learn everything, because that's the thing. Don't make this harder than it is. It is a simple company, a simple business, a simple concept, and a simple system. And it's just about sticking with it.
Absolutely. And Malina, I'm going to have one more thing that came to mind. We've talked a lot about people that have had success in the industry before or been in the industry before. It doesn't matter whether you've ever done this before or whether you're brand new. We all start someplace. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's better not to have had any experience. And other times that experience, you can take what you've learned, even if you've fallen flat in your face in other companies, and apply it here and do incredibly well. Take everything you've learned and apply it here. So it doesn't matter. Zero experience or tons of experience, anybody can do this. As Malina says, in her favorite word to describe this is simple. And I think I use the same word a lot, and I also use the word fun. This is fun. If you're not having fun, call up. Get somebody in the line who is having fun and pick their brains about why they're having fun and how they're having fun and what they're doing. And you're going to find they're not doing anything any different than what we've chatted about here. Again, Malina, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. I mean, let's rock this thing. There's no reason not to. It is simple and fun and big money. And did I mention it's wine? That's our favorite line. That's one of my favorite lines. So get out there and get social. Love you guys. Thank you for coming. And remember to call up. Let's fire ourselves and rehire ourselves if you're not happy with what you've done. Since being in the business, it's as good a time as any to rehire yourself today. So let's get on those three-way calls, plug into the system, and let's make some money. Aloha.
Absolutely.